Hello everyone. October the 12th today. Well, I said it many times, 2023 would be a difficult year, and I guess we are exactly experiencing that. What has to happen will happen. It's just we have to allow things to unfold in that way. The darker it gets, the more those who hold the light will stand out and become visible. It's very simple. It's like when the night falls, then these lights which before were invisible, they all of a sudden pop into clear visibility. That's what is happening right now on this planet. So hold the light, and as we are working on embracing our shadows, we are burning brighter. That is really the call here in these present times. Pluto turned direct yesterday, stationing finally at 27 degrees and 53 minutes. And overall, it's a beautiful chart. It's not an easy chart, particularly considering that the Sun was most exactly opposite Chiron, you see here, actually in a applying opposition, which means we are reaching still towards the high point, towards the peak, so it's still in that intensifying phase. This means this whole next 5 months roughly of Pluto's, actually it's 7 months, sorry, Pluto moves forward 7 months, will be under this basic frequency which was set in motion yesterday. Beautiful. The Moon Venus conjunction, however, Venus is closely conjunct the black moon, so it is really about diving into that shadow and integrating it, absorbing it, and as you certainly know, that is where the true source of light is found, at the center of the dark, at the center of the shadow. That's why we are pushed so hard also on the collective level to go through that center point. Regardless of what they're pulling out there, it won't work, believe me. This is just the last test we are facing right now, and yes, it's pretty intense times as we speak. Just to give you the greater context, first of all, there's 5 planets which change to forward motion within a bit more than a month. On the 29th of September it was Hygeia, or Hygeia, whatever you pronounce her as, the planet about health, well-being. And then on the 5th of October it was Arrokoth. Actually, while Uranus was perfectly at midheaven on the zero meridian, which I showed you in the last recording, which really indicates that the awakening is in full swing. People are realizing what's going on, and the darker, the more harder they play, the faster it goes. That's basically what it is. They work in our favor, even though they do terrible things, absolutely. We have to just be there with our presence, with our empathy, and hold the ground, and that's exactly what this chart also implies. Now on the 5th of October, as I say, Arrokoth, then Pluto on the 10th or 11th, yesterday, and then on the 19th, Jariklo, Chiron's wife, which is all about rebirth and compassion, which will be another big step forward into a new territory. 19th, you can mark that. I will get deeper into this soon. And then on the 4th of November, finally, it will be Saturn stationing at 0 degrees and 30 minutes in Pisces, really bringing all that hidden still hidden suffering to the forefront, all about that terrible toll these chaps have been causing, that will then really coming to the full light as we go in the next few months. This is the time of reckoning, of coming to a full embrace of what has been going on. So yesterday, also just short after Pluto stationed, Mars entered Scorpio. That's a very intense phase, and this is probably going for about 8 weeks or so. And actually I can tell you exactly. Let's see, I have it right here. Yeah, into the 25th of November. And pretty much simultaneously, actually just about a minute later or so, the black moon was in perfect opposition to Saturn. So in a sextile and trine, this is the silver lining, you could say. Anyway, the black moon Saturn theme is that pull into the shadow, into the dark, to a place where we cannot escape it anymore. It has to be worked through, it has to be looked at and investigated and integrated. Then naturally, as you know, within 2 days we have that big eclipse coming, that annular eclipse which will cross all over North and South America. More on that in my next recording, which I hopefully get up tomorrow or the day after. So now let's have a bit of a closer look into this chart. I already mentioned the Moon-Venus conjunction. Yes, it is a beautiful energy generally with the moon in Virgo. It's about healing, health and integration, knowing that we are our closest best friends. We are our own parents in that sense. That's the role we have to take on as we grow up. That's the sorry about that. That's the message the Virgo moon gives us. Self-care. Very, very big. Now I want to show you something. So you see Pluto stationed at 2753. The last time Pluto was in that degree was in January 2023, on the 8th exactly, entering that retro loop. As I showed you in earlier recordings, this is an important moment when a planet first makes contact with that degree, where it will eventually go back to and then reboot itself from again into forward motion. So this is kind of setting the tone for that whole year. Interesting, most interesting is that the Sun at the time was at 1743 Capricorn, and as you see, if we do the overlay of the two charts, 1743 Capricorn, that is in a perfect square to where the Sun was yesterday when Pluto stationed. So you have that perfect big square with Chiron here and Earth and the part of fortune here in the initial chart of the retro loop, which sets the tone, as I said, for the whole year. Now let's have a quick look at this initial chart of January the 8th 2023, and you see there's the black moon and the moon conjunct. This in itself tells us, yes, this will be a great transformational year ahead of us, and it is exactly about that, going to the very darkest places, and that's where transformation happens. Also, see the 2212 is here at the 8th house cusp, Pluto's house, and what you see here in our global chart for yesterday's Pluto's station is exactly that degree, is now at the ascendant. So whatever was kind of initiated, laid the foundations for in January, is now in its final stage of manifesting itself, of coming full circle. Jupiter was very powerfully placed here in a trine here to the moon, which is basically extremely helpful and beneficial, and naturally also in a T-square to the ascendant and descendant. So Jupiter here in early Aries at the time. This is the inner knowing, I would say, that yes, forward is the only motion, it can only get better, and there is this kind of wanting to go into a new land, into a new world, into a better world. It is, yes, still kind of deeply buried here under the earth in the dark, so to say, but it already is felt that there's something knocking on our doors which wants to come into full manifestation. Most interesting is that we have the exact opposite axis here. See 913 Taurus here at the 4th house cusp, and here you have that pretty exact same degree. So that's why I thought I looked that degree up, because this is definitely a big message on what this whole year is about, and now getting into its finalization. And so this is let's start with the 10th degree of Taurus. Red Cross Nurse, the keynote, the compassionate linking of all men. Rudy Harrier writes, this symbol reveals the feeling of human cooperation at the stage of pure altruism and service to the social whole. It is really happening. The big base of humanity is starting to bond in a whole new way. All these extremists, these are just really triggering even a greater amalgamation of the solid core of humanity. So don't take whatever the news media puts out as the main frequency on this planet. This is really just the propaganda machinery, which is going crazy as ever, always pushing fear and all of that. And believe me, it won't work. It never has worked in the last few years, increasingly less. It will really come to a place where these voices will just implode, because they have no support anymore. So it says here further regarding sorry about that, still a bit battling here, that's why I haven't been recording much. Let me have a sip of tea here. On that 10th degree of Taurus, it's related to agape. Through companionship, man can reach a still higher level of experience made possible by the refinement of the substance of his being, his consciousness and his will. This goes beyond imagination or faith and is really the consecration to humanity. A very beautiful degree indeed. You also see Ceres here is right at the root of this chart in the 11th degree, and if we look now back into the retro loops chart, then we have that same degree here where the south node has been at the time. See, 1030, 1053. Pretty dead on exact. So the 10th degree of Scorpio, I want to read you that one too, because it really is on that exact same frequency. A fellowship supper reunites old comrades. The overtones of human relationships based on a community of work or experiences. It is the bonding together we experience when we do something together, when we build that group personality. And as I said already a couple of weeks ago, as we entered the Libra phase on September the 23rd, we are now in this collectivization phase, that half year of whatever we personally, individually were diving into new territory, integrating, is now starting to catch on in a much bigger, much more collective way. That's what we are experiencing. So I leave it at this, and again, stay tuned. More on the solar eclipse coming up soon. These are super interesting times, very powerful in their potentials. Very important not to get into a reactive mode at all, just allow things to pass by. This too shall pass is the big secret here. Just watch from the sideline, even if it tries to get into you. Wait it out before you give any answer. Do not react. Very important in these intense times. Thanks for joining and listening, and talk to you soon.